This election is won. This election is won by women. There was a record-breaking Zoom call by women. There was a record-breaking Zoom call by a black woman. There was a record-breaking Zoom call by a white woman. I watched both of them. They were separate, the black woman's Zoom call and the white woman's Zoom call. I guess that the black women have more desperation because their human rights are violated more. But women want their rightful place at the table. Trump is going to abuse us, dispose of us, and use misogyny. The way he treated his third wife while she was pregnant, he was paying a porn star and embarrassed her completely. The Republican Party is very scary. It's a crisis, but we know we have won the election. But the very few people with big money who may be wanting to perpetrate the backward movement of women's rights, they may be very strong and powerful. But sometimes people with power or money send other people to do their dirty work. And that's the cover-up. We need to start exposing that. You need to be aware of it. The art of degrading and devaluing a woman, you need to be aware of it. It's a psychological thing. It's subtle, like what Meghan Markle saw in the Procter & Gamble commercial. And what the Republicans are doing is like what the Jehovah's Witnesses are doing. But the Jehovah's Witnesses, they subjugate the women and say the men are ahead. And then they sell their property to the Trump Kushners. And Trump is thinking like the Jehovah's Witnesses, backward, where the man is the head. But women want to have a seat at the table. We want to be in the leadership positions also. I was having a peace and prosperity event on Sunday, but it was disrupted on Saturday by Omega Psi Phi fraternity party. I asked a girl at the party, I say, does your music and dancing give you pride and passion? She said, yes. I said, what does that pride and passion give you? She said it made her smarter, but I noticed there was a song, a rap song they were dancing to, and the way they were dancing. But they're gonna make women whores on their tippy toes. So it disrupted my whole weekend, and I had to put it in the video. So the Republicans overturned Roe versus Wade. You can see where they're headed with their Project 225. So somebody must be, those Jehovah's Witnesses who destroyed my children must be having Bible studies with Trump, because that's their thinking. Mike's husband did not go to divorce court, and I was the one who went to college, but he was the one who wanted to be in control. The men want to be in control. They don't want the woman to have anything. They want to devalue and degrade women. So a lot of people do not even realize that hunter-gatherers generally use gossip and ridicule for social controls, but when those social controls are eroded, they turn into misogyny, treating women differently from men in social and professional settings, threatening, aggressive, intimidating, and violent behavior. There's a whole list of behaviors, but we need to build awareness, because they start in a subtle way, and then it builds up to where a man like O.J. Simpson can kill his wife. The whole court case is on TV, and nobody's convicted, and then his family, 30 years later, is still grieving. We're going to stop these secrets and uncover all the things that they like to get away with and scheme, and what they try to normalize as part of the culture. Here's Meghan Markle. When she was 11, she noticed that Procter & Gamble was making psychological, subtle statements, which was devaluing and degrading women. She went on to UN Women. But also, I found that there are attacks which create toxic workplaces. A woman with a similar degree or similar education to a man sometimes is treated differently. Here's the art of degrading and valuing a woman, demonstrated by Kanye West. He is having his wife do oral sex in public. And what Kanye West did Kanye West also said he's voting for Trump. So he's devaluing his wife, not his girlfriend or a whore, but he just visits. Just like Trump degraded, embarrassed Melania with a whore while she was pregnant with her wonderful son Barron. Now, this is symbolic of destroying women's identity. When you see facial mutilation and it becomes public like this, it's symbolic. You are your face. That's the first thing they identify you as. So this shows that it's a deep-rooted degrading of women. This is a star. This is a case with no conviction. If you don't admit something is wrong in society, you will never fix it. Here are O.J. Simpson's wife sisters sitting in an interview, and they can't really speak very well. They have not investigated, they have not documented. I have so many videos documented, ready to go to court. They haven't done any of that. They look so quiet and so just accepting of these things. But you can see this is deep-rooted because Rihanna is a big star. She now has 2 sons. So you have to understand how scent works. People with big money and people in power send people. My ex-husband had a state trooper come. He ticketed my car back to back. They went into my house and damaged the kitchen. They damaged my car. Now, I'm sure they put the drugs in Nicole Brown's house because they said, when you ask people about the murder of Nicole Brown, they say African Americans say drugs was involved. But I'm sure that the African American gangs, like the ones I've dealt with, who are in government, planted the drugs in her house. So you see, it's a deep-rooted problem, and you see that you have to be able to document things, look for signs. This guy was sent. This man was sent to say very abusive things to me. But you know, my mother sent me to a expensive Anglican high school for girls only. And this man came over to verbally, mentally, and emotionally abuse me and degrade and devalue me. But I was already bullied out of government, which I contacted the Senate, Congress, and the House about. So, but this is how scent works. Here are O.J. Simpson's wife sisters again. 30 years later, they say the grief hasn't let up. And that's the problem. The grief hasn't let up, but Americans get angry, very, very angry, and the action lets up. So how do we fix it? Prevention by support system. There is Black Lives Matter and there's time done, but we need other organizations that let us be aware all the time, make notes of the signs, object to certain things that happen. And I'll tell you why. We're going to make a cumulative complaint about this. We need detection by attorneys. The attorneys need to tell us what they need. We need justice in the courts. We need reproductive freedom. We need women's health care. Now, Kamalanomics, I said I was going to watch her for 157 days. She had her sorority, the teachers, black woman Zoom call, white woman Zoom call, and much, much more, even Republicans on video. Everybody is behind her. So we're going to have a woman president. But we're going to need more than that. We're going to need to start what we need to do now. I'm proud to say she has won the election. Very good. Media events and show of support all over YouTube, Facebook, all over the media. She's a proven winner. Her track record is wonderful, going from Senate to DA to Attorney General, Vice President, President. It's the proper way. It was perfect. So we need a delegation from Black Lives Matter. That's the first delegation. I've been in contact with them. We need a delegation from Time Done. I've been in contact with them. We need another group. The other group has been identified in 2023 when the officer orderer in Seattle said to cut a check for a person who was killed and laughed and said she was of limited value. We need to have a group. I don't know, it would be a victims group where we collect evidence of people who are saying evidence of abuses, because we have to go to court. This is the problem. They got very, very angry when this young lady, graduate student, was killed in Seattle, Washington. But Americans get mad for a while, and they get very, very mad and burn things and get arrested and everything. And then they forget everything. Except people close to the victim. They have 30 years of grief and more, actually. It never goes away. So we're going to reach out to victims. We're going to start collecting evidence and videos. We're going to organize Zoom calls. We're going to contact the numerous pro bono international human rights attorneys we've found on the internet. We're going to have a delegation to the attorneys. We're going to have a delegation to the ICC. Here is why. I couldn't leave this out of the video. This is the ICC court has a $900 million verdict. So we have to get a verdict. We have to get a verdict for the United States. And the verdict will do something. If the USA has to pay this fine, it will change their thinking. It may stop the conspiracy and the cover-ups, because we will have a collection of evidence and videos which we will give to the media. So we want something to change. We don't want you to protest and then go back to the same old ways. Change is what we want. Myself, with my government service and civic duty beginning 48 years ago, I put everything on my YouTube channel. Jesus spoke about the weeping woman. Jesus was sympathetic in many cases to the woman. I fight as one of 6 daughters of Eduardo Massoni. I fight as one of 300 women in my family. I fight as one of millions of American women. And I fight as one of billions of women all over the world.